I went to the Brit School. They do everything. They do like film, acting, dance, musical theatre. It's not a music school, but because people think of the Brit School, they think of Adele and Amy Winehouse, and they're like, oh, it's the music. But actually, like Tom Holland was there when I was there. It's
cool.
an everything school.
Nice.
And then when I was 11, I found Taylor Swift.
You mentioned classical guitar, which is probably wildly different to actually songwriting on a guitar. Was it hard to kind of transfer that into actual songwriting?
How have you written all 3 of these this week? Like, it's amazing. I'm like, but when you are writing 3 a week, with anything, you just get better and you get quicker.
Yeah, but
like,
your voice could match sort of any genre and kind of, yeah, of course.
Thanks.
All right, let's do it. You ready?
Hello, everyone.
Hello. Natalie Shay, thank you, and welcome to the Tempo Melody podcast. Thanks so much for coming on, and I'm really excited to hear about your musical journey and kind of where you're at now and what you're up to.
Thank you very much. This is very exciting.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, cool. Nice. Thank you. Well, let's start from the beginning. So how did you kind of get into music from the get-go?
From the beginning. Okay, so when I was 3 or 4, I first started playing classical guitar in the school, like learning. So I did all the grades in classical guitar. I did that for many years. So I was always playing guitar. And around the same time, I joined like a theatre school, and I'd go there on like Saturday morning and do like singing, dancing, acting. So I did that all through childhood. So I was performing and I was playing guitar.
Yeah.
And I did some acting and stuff. I did like little TV things when I was a kid. And then I was on a show called EastEnders.
Yeah, nice.
As a
Cool.
kid. And then and other things like BBC things, little things, but nothing massive. It was just kind of, I guess, because I enjoyed it, but I knew I didn't want to be an actor, and I didn't love it that much. I knew I wanted to be doing performing. And then when I was 11, I found Taylor Swift.
Okay.
And I went to see her at the O2 Arena when I was 11.
Yeah.
And I was just like, that's so cool. Like,
nice.
I want to do that. She plays guitar and she writes songs, and like I play guitar and I sing, and just the whole sort of like, she writes about her life, and a lot of the songs that she was releasing at that time were, she was like 15, 16 when she wrote them, and I was like 11, so it wasn't too far away. And I kind of thought, okay, she's only a little bit older than me, she's writing these songs. I was really, really blown away by her. And then, so shortly after that, I got an acoustic guitar, and that's when I started writing songs and learning chords and doing it. And then, so that brings me up to when I started doing it. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, because you mentioned classical guitar in the beginning, which is probably wildly different to actually songwriting on a guitar. So you obviously knew how to play the guitar,
yes.
but like, was it hard to kind of transfer that into actual songwriting?
Yeah, because also classical guitar is a nylon string.
Right.
It's all finger picking.
Yeah.
There's no freedom in it. It's about doing it perfectly. There's no strumming, none of that. I didn't really know how to play any chords at all. So it's like I had the strength in my hands. Like when people say, how do you get good at guitar? You need to have the strength. Like that's the first thing. Get strength in your fingers, then you can but I didn't know how to play chords or anything. So I could play the guitar, but not in the way I wanted. So it took me a while to like learn chords. And I think once I'd learnt the chords, I just learnt Taylor Swift songs, and it sort of all like came together. Like I figured it out, I think. Yeah. But yeah.
I'm ashamed to admit I've picked up the guitar about 4 times to try and learn it, like 4 separate times to try and learn. It's going to sound like such a lame question, but is there anything that you would suggest to be like, just stick it through, but like learn songs that you love? I mean, that's what I've heard. Like, is there any tips to just like keep going with it? Because
yeah, like I said, the more you do it, I think it's a mix. People sort of give up because it hurts, or it gets achy, or they can't. I think if I go on holiday and I don't play for 2 weeks, I struggle when I get back because my fingers have lost the strength a bit. So I think it's about sort of building that strength in your fingers. Obviously, like the calluses, like that makes it easier to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd start with songs that you know. Also, like learn the 4 easy chords, and then like you can play kind of everything.
Yeah.
And like that's the best way to start. You don't need to overcomplicate it or try and learn like the riffs to intros to songs. Like that's all cool to like show off at a party, but in terms of like writing and being a guitarist, it's just learn the 4 chords and get good at those. Yeah, that's the first thing.
Makes sense. Yeah, I mean, it is just, I suppose, about persistence and continuing with it, which I'm doing. I'm getting the calluses.
Yeah, good.
So
good
on my
for
way,
you.
on the 4th time. And so what was it about Taylor Swift that I know you mentioned her lyrics and that she was writing about her life. Was there more than that kind of was like, oh my God, I need to do this myself?
I don't know. I guess I don't know. I can't think at that age what it was that struck with me. I think I always needed an outlet, and I think I found that was my outlet. I like lyrics. Yeah. I've always liked lyrics. I really liked her lyrics, I guess, and I was like, I want to do that. I would like her songs are so, especially the older ones, they're very specific to like one person that she's written about, and you can learn about how she felt about a whole person from like 3 minutes of a song. And I think I would rewrite the lyrics to her songs to fit like boys that I liked. Like when I was in school, I was like, I'd rewrite the words to try and fit people for me. And I think that's songwriting. That's the start of it. Rewriting other people's songs and then writing your own songs. So I think it was an outlet and an expression thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think like fandom in general, I don't think everybody in the Taylor Swift crowd is going home and picking up a guitar and thinking I'm going to do music. So there's got to be something, as you said, that kind of just triggers that spark in your brain to be like, whoa, I could do this too.
Of course.
For me, it was Michael Jackson.
Was it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Heard his music and went to the mirror, started dancing, and then tried to replicate his singing. So I totally understand this sort of like one person that just like flipped it for you. Cool. So you started on the guitar to write your own songs. When did you kind of go, this is ready to be out in a public setting?
So I started doing all that. I think I started posting my originals on YouTube when I was 12.
Okay.
So, and that's when I decided like that I was going to do this. I decided really young. I told everyone at school, I was like, this is what I'm doing. I'd like made a fan page for myself and like,
nice.
I was like 12. There was this website at the time that got taken down years ago. It was called Line Booth, and it was like a music-specific website, kind of like YouTube. There was not many people on it, but you could rise high on it really easily. So I did a lot of that. I was posting on Line Booth, posting on YouTube, like covers and originals and things, and SoundCloud stuff. And then I think in 2012, so I was 13, I entered a competition called Gigs Big Busk, which was hosted by the Mayor of London, and it was this competition where you played lots of gigs around London and you collect the like votes from the public, and then you get into a big final and there's like a winner of the competition. So I won that competition in 2012. That was the first thing I did. From the final of that competition, I made like 2 really important contacts with 2 people that I still use to this day. So it was really important. 2 things came off of that. And then after that, I entered like loads of competitions for like a year, all the sort of singing youth competitions and everything I could enter. And then at 14, I went to the Brit School, which is like, it's not a music school. It's not a music school. They do everything. They do like film, acting, dance, musical theatre. It's not a music school, but I guess because people think of the Brit School, they think of Adele and Amy Winehouse, and they're like, oh, it's the music. But actually, like Tom Holland was there when I was there. It's an everything school. Nice. But it's free, and that's why it's special and important, because a lot of these art schools are private, so it makes it elitist, and it's like, this gives everyone a shot. If you're talented, you go. If you're not talented, you don't. Like, that's the reason, and it's fair. So yeah, I went there from 14, did 4 years there.
And there's an application process.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you have to perform in front of somebody, or just like send in your demos?
You send in like a form where they're looking for people that not just are good at singing, but people that are serious about a career at 14 years old. Like, you have to be like, these are the things I've done outside school to show that I want to do this professionally. This is my attitude. Like, I'm ready to leave my school behind, my normal school, and go to this school. And like, so you have to fill in all these answers and questions. And then I think they accept 600, or at the time they accepted 600 people to come in and audition. And then there's like a full day that they do for like weeks and weeks until they've seen everyone. And then I think they take 25 per course from that. So that was the process.
Now, singing is a whole nother beast to playing guitar as well.
Yes.
So that obviously took some practice and confidence to get to a place where you can perform. When you were learning guitar, were you also practicing singing? Well, you also, I guess, performed.
Yeah, I was doing like my musicals. Yeah. I've always done musicals. Yeah. So I've always been singing. I've always done musicals, and like my friends were always like singing, and we'd like go to each other's houses and make shows, and then like show our mums. Like I've always done singing and stuff. Yeah. But I think it's one of those things like you either have the skill and then you can make it better. Some people don't have it, and then you can learn to sing, but I think if you haven't got it, you can hear someone that's learned to sing versus someone that's a singer that has refined it. So yeah, I think I always could kind of sing, but I was not brilliant. Like, I had to get better at it through practice, and I also obviously had like training and just doing it a lot and finding what works for me, and then like writing songs that fit my voice versus trying to sing songs that aren't for my voice that other people have written. I think that's where people make the mistake. They try and sing other people's songs that aren't for them.
Yeah.
It's not for you. That's why you can't sing it. It's fine. Write songs that are for you, and you're like in the notes that you can sing, and then you'll do your best. It's not about like, can you belt this massive note? It's about like what sounds the best. Yeah. And I think, once you stop trying to be impressive and just try and sound nice, that's the best thing to do.
Did it come easy to mimic Taylor Swift in that sense?
Yes, I did. I mimicked her loads. I always did. I just like everything that she's done. Always. I think she's great.
Yeah.
I think she's so important. I think everyone that's like doing what I'm doing of this generation, of my generation, most of us were inspired by Taylor Swift. And I think like even the people that are like, oh, I don't like Taylor Swift. It's like, what don't you like? Do you not realize that this woman has like given singer-songwriter guitarists another generation? Like she was the woman for my generation that was like, oh, there she is. Like there's always one per generation that inspires the next, but she did that. So it's like, even if you don't like her songs, you can't hate this person that's probably inspired an artist that you do like.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, I think she's great.
I think so as well. I mean, she's clearly super talented. And yeah, I mean, it's a good aspiration to get to. When you got to the Brit School, what did you learn there that you've kind of transferred into what you know now?
So I think people think that you learn music. You don't really. Right. You learn the industry, and they give you the space to get better and to figure out what you're doing and to collaborate. But they don't teach you anything. Like I didn't have singing lessons or guitar lessons there. I didn't do any lessons like that. It's like they teach you, this is how the industry works. This is how you go through a contract. If you get faced with a contract, this is what you need to look for. This is the parts of the industry. And here you can learn a bit about music production so that when you're in a studio, you know what you're talking about. And it's learning about music and the industry, and it's a vocational qualification. And then you meet lots of people that are doing it. And I think it's just a mix of having all these people at like 14 years old that know what they want to do in one place. And it's competitive, but in the right way. I think it's a mix of all the things. It brought me out my shell. I was very shy before I went there. I think it was important for that to give me confidence and self-belief, and to be in a place where people took my dreams seriously. Whereas at my other school, they were kind of like, music's cool, but like, we're going to do history. Like they didn't really understand that I was serious about this thing. They were like, that's cool that you're good at that, but like, it's not going to help your university application. Yeah. I was like, well, I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to tell you. So just to sort of be treated like an adult and to be 14 and be like, I want to do this thing. They're like, yep, cool. Okay. We'll help you do that thing. Like, it's nice. It's really good. It's really useful.
I definitely connect with that. I think it feels a bit silly when you're with your family or friends who are not in music, and family is always going to support you, I think. But, or when you're in an environment and someone asks you, what do you do? And you sort of say, oh, I'm a singer, or I do music, or whatever. It feels, for me at least, and maybe that's my own insecurity, but it just feels so silly.
I hate saying it.
Yeah.
I hate it. I always say I do music, like straight away. I don't say like, oh, I'm an artist. I do music.
Yeah.
Like, and they're like, what do you do? I'm like, I have an artist project. Like, it's so embarrassing because it's the response. If the response is wrong, I feel awful.
Yeah, and perhaps it's us projecting that, because I think I'm sure most people would say, "Oh, that's amazing," and in your mind, you're like, "Oh, they think it's so silly."
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So I guess it's probably, and I'm only speaking for myself. It's my own insecurity, I imagine.
No, I have it too. I tend to not mention what I do among people that don't know what I do.
Well, so here's the difference. So I have songs on Spotify, whatever, but like my artist project is not as developed. But if someone went to yours and was like, oh, she does music, and kind of went to your profile, as in everything that you have, they'd be like, oh, she does music.
Yeah.
You know? So and obviously I can't say, don't be like insecure about it, but yeah,
I think you get, I don't know, it's more people my age that aren't in music. Like, I hate when people go, oh, how's the singing going? Like,
my God.
It's not, I'm not doing singing. Like, it's not, the singing is like 1% of what I do. So like, that's such a small part of it. It's not, I don't wake up every day and go, I'm a singer. Like, I'm not trying to, it's a business. Like, I'm building a brand and a business, and it's a career. It's not singing. Like, that, I hate that one. And I hate the like, oh, that's so cool, but like, what if it doesn't work out? What are you gonna do? It's like, what do you mean? It's worked out. Like, I'm doing it full time. To me, that's what do you?
That's
like,
awesome.
What do you interpret as worked out? I interpret it as, this is my job. That is worked out.
Yeah.
So I'm so scared of hearing one of those and how that makes me feel. I just tend to not even say anything.
Interesting. Yeah. I suppose that's an internal conflict that I guess could be worked on. Because they're doing nothing wrong.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Anyway, so sorry, I don't know if you mentioned, how long is the Brit School? Like, how long were you there?
So you can either go from 14 for 4 years or at 16 for 2 years. Okay. But at 16, they take in another 25 per course. So the year doubles at 16. So I went 14. I was just restless and I was like, I need to do music now. I can't be in this school. I have to leave. Yeah. And I also wanted to leave the school because it would give me lots of attention and everyone would be like, oh, she's off to do music. And I so it was a bit about that too. Yeah. But no, it was great. I needed it at that age because I was so shy and weird. And then I went there and yeah, so it was good.
And were you working on stuff while you were in school that once you finished, you were like, okay, I'm ready to release this? Or was it, let me do the school and kind of get to where I need to be, and now I'll...
Yeah, I was always doing it. So I started gigging at 13. I've never stopped gigging. I've been doing like 2 or 3 shows a week since I was 13. Wow. Other than 2020, I've literally have always played shows.
What happened then?
COVID. Obviously. Yeah. That's the year when I was like, oh my God, who am I? Like, no one's watching me sing. Like, what am I doing? But yeah, I've always done gigging. So I was always doing that outside school. And I was working with people. I think I released my first song when I was 14 or 15. I did
Is
like
that the one on like streaming services?
Yeah, Follow You Home.
Okay, yeah.
I put that out like on my own. I didn't know what I was doing. Someone produced it for me for free because she was like, someone helped me when I was your age, so I'll help you. I was like, thank you. So she recorded this song for me. I put it out. I didn't really know what I was doing. I took the artwork in my garden. Like I did it all on my own. And it did like, back then it was the iTunes chart era. Mm-hmm. And because I was obviously in that school and it was a big deal that someone in the school released a song, everyone got behind it. And in that first day, I got to like 11 in the iTunes chart just from like spreading the word and it being my first song. And that was really cool. And then I did another one. But with all of them, it's like people at that school were music video people. So they made my music videos for me because they needed experience. They needed a song to make a video for. I needed a video. People wanted to act in the video. So it's like being at that school was just great because everything I did while I was there was just people in the school, like getting involved. All the band was people in the school, like everyone. So that was good. And then I think I did 2 while I was there. And then when I left, I did my first one with like PR. Yeah. And that was like 6 months after I left. Okay. That was my first serious one.
And that was also on...
yeah, so that's called This Feeling. That came out January 2018.
Yeah, 2018, yeah. So 2015 was the first one, and then the gap to...
Yes. Yeah. So I was still in school till 2017, and then 2018, January, I'd like met this PR lady and she'd helped me, and I'd like worked with a producer that like I'd gone and found, and it was, so that was the first... when I was like, I'm doing this seriously now. Yeah.
And I mean, that's pretty evident, you know, given that, like you said, you did the cover art in the garden. And then I can see on the 2018, like first single.
I did a photo shoot.
Yeah, exactly. I know. It was like, I'm ready for this. Trying to find your sound is everything in a sense. From 2015 to 2018, was that your goal? And then by 2018, you said, okay, this is the artist I want to be?
I didn't really think that way. I was I never thought that way. I think I've just always made the music that I listen to. Right. And the first 2 I was listening to, like, what was in at the time was like Mumford & Sons and Codaline and Taylor Swift and sort of folky stuff. So I was making folky stuff, but then I went through my indie rock phase. So when This Feeling came out, I was like, I want to be an indie band. Like I think it's just, I tried to make what I liked, but what I liked was always kind of what was on the festivals. Like I liked the things that were current. So I just was like, well, that's what I like. I want to fit in there. But then as that sort of was not the trend anymore, then I was like, okay, so now it's a bit more synthy. So I'll do the synthy thing. I like synth music. So I've just kind of just followed with what I listen to. Right. Yeah. Yeah. And now I think I've got a sound, but I never tried to find one. I just did. Yeah.
I mean, your voice is super dynamic.
Oh, thank you.
You're able to, I think your voice could match sort of any genre and kind of, yeah, of course.
Thanks.
Like on Like You Boy, where you sort of give that little growl.
Yeah, my little growl.
Yeah.
'Cause baby, when you call out my name, it fills me with shame, 'cause I like you, boy.
I just feel like you're able to kind of, and it's not drastic to the sense of like, oh, is this Natalie? But you're able to change your voice to kind of fit that, I guess, genre or like a vibe of the song, and it's super impressive because
thank you very much.
It allows every song not to sound the same, and that's super important.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Thanks.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Was that something you worked on in terms of your actual voice, your singing voice of?
No.
And, like, is there stuff that you learned along the way?
Yeah, like obviously I started in musical theatre and I still do musical theatre a lot. That's what when I'm having a sing song at home, I don't sing pop songs, I sing musical theatre. When I'm singing in the car, it's musical theatre. When I am doing karaoke with my friends, they're all theatre people. Like I'm like a theatre kid that does music.
Yeah.
But like I don't really want to do that as a job, but I love that. So I think that's why I can sing because because that's like singing. So I've always done that. The rest of it, I don't know. You find what works, you find what sounds interesting. I think like a lot of what's in at the moment is kind of gimmick singing. And I'm very aware of not becoming a gimmick singer because it dies and it gets uncool. And when you listen to something from like 4 years ago and people are singing like cursive and now it's not cool, and it's like I don't want people to listen to my stuff and be like, oh, why is she singing like that? That's not cool. So I'm really, really like, and I try not to copy vocal trends and just try and sing with what I think sounds nice. But I do like little things in my voice that are like not necessarily there when I sing theatre as well. Like I put things on, but I found what works for me and what I don't think is trying to follow a trend, because I think trends are cool, but then when the trend goes, you don't want it to be awkward afterwards or like go out of fashion. You want, I kind of want to always like what I've done and not be like, ugh, I hate that. So,
I think you can. I mean, honestly, listening through your catalog, it's like super impressive.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and they're all good songs. And your last EP, Champagne, is fantastic.
Thank you. I really like it.
Yeah, I've been noticing with this podcast that, you know, I have people on and I obviously have to listen to their stuff and do research. And I end up listening to the like people's music just because it's so great. And yours was no different. And I was constantly singing your songs.
Thank you.
And,
that means a lot.
Listening to it.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's really good. So you mentioned that you were shy. So let's talk about performance a little bit.
Yes.
How did you overcome that shyness? Or I
was never shy on stage.
Right, okay.
But between the songs, then I was shy.
Right.
It's talking. Performing, I've always been much the same. I've always done the hair flicks. I've always done my face. I've always, because I sing theatre, it's acting. Like I've always, I hide behind my singing because I know that I'm good at it and I know that's good. But then I thought, but people didn't care what I had to say. So then I'd finish the song and I'd be like, oh my God, nobody cares what I have to say. So then I'd be like, this next song is called. And then afterwards, someone would come up to me and be like, oh, you're so good. I'd love to work with you. And I'd be like, Dad, can you talk for me? Because I was just so like, it was talking and not believing in what I had to say. And actually, I feel like I've only kind of overcome the talking thing in the last 2 years. Like, I think it's really recent. Even up until quite recently, I was still didn't want to talk on stage. I was just shy and I thought that nobody cared what I had to say, or that, I don't know, I hadn't done much public speaking. So I guess, I think the assurance in what you have to say comes like with sort of as your career grows. And then I'm like, okay, so I belong here now.
Yeah, and these people are here for me.
Yes. And then I got sort of like, okay, and I've done a lot of, I go on school tours. I go around like schools.
Yeah, I noticed on all the comments.
Yes.
My school.
Yes, I go to these schools.
Yeah, really cool.
It's really fun. And I do like a full day. I'll do like 1,000 kids in a day, like different sessions, like 1 hour sessions where I just kind of talk about my career and I play some of my songs and I do a Q&A and then I do a meet and greet and I give everyone a flyer and I think that really helped with my talking to crowds, because it's, you walk into a school at 8 a.m, they don't know who you are, and you're expected to just like get the attention of 200 teenagers. Like if you can do that, you can do anything.
Yeah, exactly.
You can do
anything. They're the most judgy of them all.
Oh, they are.
If you can
they
overcome that,
yeah, especially in school. Like they don't want to like you. Like you have to make them like you. Like they don't want. They always start like, okay, impress me then, and it's like, you know. But I like it. It's fun. It's good.
Yeah. Is that a common thing to do, or
no?
Yeah,
I just did it.
Okay.
I knew about it. I knew it was a thing. And then like I found an agency that did it. And again, even when I sort of signed up for it, I was still like, I can't do this. Like I was still really scared. But I thought, if anything, it will be good for me and my confidence, if nothing at all.
Yeah. Nice.
But as it's turned out, I just really enjoy it, and it's really fun. It's really nice. It's a great way to meet fans and to make fans.
Yeah, definitely.
And also, it's like I feel like I'm actually making a difference. Like the messages I get, people are like, you inspired me to write a song, or you like, and it's like that's what I'm trying to do. I just like, you got to give back, and I'm like, it's a way of giving back, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
to the next.
That's super cool. And you were once, that little teenager that was looking up, so I'm sure that connects with you.
Yes, it does. It does.
Right. So where are we now? We are at the part where you're releasing music. Now, after that first kind of EP that you did, which I guess the collection of the 2018 songs got into an EP.
Yeah. So I put like 2 songs out, and then I put another one out, and then a label came and were like, I really like this song. Do you want to do an EP? I was like, never thought about it, but okay. And then that song ended up on the EP, and then I just finished off the EP. But I didn't go into that being like, this is going to be an EP. It just sort of, I had all these songs, and then it ended up being one. But yeah, it was fine. That came out in 2020 though. Like it was a long, took a while from then, and I was gonna not release it because it was 2020, and like it was right as lockdown hit. It was like April, and the label were like, maybe we'll wait like a few months to see if. But as it worked out, it was the right thing to do. It was the time when everyone was at home really wanting things to happen, and I had this whole EP ready to go with like physical CDs printed. Like it was perfect. It was perfect as it turns out, it was the right thing to do, was to release in lockdown. I really enjoyed it.
Was there any self-doubt doing that? As in, were you 100% confident this is everything I gave to these songs and to this project?
To the audio, but I had like a whole sort of, I was meant to go to LA and I was meant to like play all these shows and do loads of things. And like, obviously I didn't do any of that part of it. So none of the in-person stuff happened, which I think was what I was sad about at the time. But music-wise, at that time, with the budget I had as an 18 to 20-year-old, like that is probably the best I could have done. But every time you do something, you learn it. So every EP I've done, I've just learned more, and I've worked with new people, and I'm like, oh, you're great, I'll keep you for the next one, or working with you didn't really do anything, like I won't work with you. From like music to PR to radio, like everything, it's just every time you do it, you learn a bit more. Like even from the last one, I know what I'll do better next time now. Like you never know.
Are you happy with the team you have now?
Now I am. Yeah. Everyone's great now. It's really good. Took me a while. I didn't have much team. I didn't have a manager for like ages. It was just like me for ages and ages and ages. And I knew I wanted one. And everyone was like, no, like you can't go looking. They'll just come. I'm like, yeah, but they're not coming. Like, and then they came, and then it was fine. So yeah, no, I'm very happy now. It's good.
Nice.
Yeah.
I do want to go back a little bit, just to your parents and how they kind of perceived this for you. It sounds like they were pretty encouraging, giving that at a young age you were.
My dad has been. My mum's Greek Cypriot.
Okay.
And this isn't a very like, it's not like a Greek Cypriot thing to do. Like it's like that's, so I guess to her it took a while to come round because it was so random. Like she was like, no, she will go and do law, and like it's like, Greek families and success is not perceived in the way. But with my mum it was a bit slow, I think. But I liked that. And again, I do this on school tour. They're like, did your parents support you? I say, right. So my dad was like my biggest number one fan, my biggest believer, pushing me and coming to everything, like number one. My mum was always like, oh, like, why are you going to that school? You're not going to do well at university now. Like, so I had somebody to prove wrong, and I had someone to make proud. And I think that's the recipe for Drive. Together. Definitely. Those two together. I needed both.
Did you have to kind of sit down with your mom and have like a serious conversation, say, Mom, this is something I want to do?
No, I just kind of kept doing it. Doing it until I realized that she got it. But it was not that long ago, maybe 4 years ago.
Okay,
she was like, oh, okay, so it's a job. I was like, yeah.
This is I guess a bit not dark, but I think it's also important to talk about. Do you ever think to yourself, like, what if this doesn't work out? Or is that like so far removed from your mindset at the moment?
I did have that. I think now it has worked out. I'm kind of like, I can't see myself not working in music in some way. Like I've definitely established myself in this industry. I know everyone, like I'll find work in music if it's not artist. Like I'm in this industry now. I'm known for what I do. Yeah. So I actually feel like it would be much harder to leave than it would to, like, I feel like it's kind of impossible because I feel like there's so many people that are aware of me now and in my circle and people I know, friends and people, and like for me to just sort of stop, I think that it would be noticed and it would be a thing. So I think, no, I don't worry about it, but I think I plan everything. I plan my whole life. It's all planned. Everything's planned about when I'm going to do it.
What are you doing in 5 years' time?
Still be doing this.
And 10?
Maybe that's when I start thinking about the baby.
Okay.
I might have to think about it then.
So being in the studio is also a different ball game. That's so American of me. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's just a different element. What like do you enjoy that process?
Yes, I do. I haven't gone into a studio with a song and been like, let's record this song. The only one I've done that with recently is Like You Boy, because I wrote that on my own.
Nice.
And I was like, I need to record this.
Yeah.
And like my acoustic ones are normally like that, but all of the like big singles, they're normally written in sessions and it's a matter of finishing them off. So I don't really have that much of the whole let's go and record an album experience, because it's all sort of half done at the time of deciding it's going to be finished. Yeah, I like studio, but I like live more. But yeah, I'm more of a live person. I write to play live.
Yeah.
Whatever I release, I'm like, this will be great when I play it live. Like that's what I think about. But yeah, I like it all. It's fun. It's great. I feel very blessed to have had this life and this chance to live this life and live
100%.
in London through this lens and in this way, and the people I meet. Every day I'm just so happy to be here. Like I'm just so happy.
That's
so
cool.
It's very cool.
Yeah, it's such a sweet spot to be in.
Yeah, it's lovely. It's so nice.
I still want to dig into it a little bit more, if that's okay. I noticed on the credits that you worked with various producers. It didn't seem like there was. I think there was one sort of consistent producer that you worked with. Katie
Ray, yes. So I met her at our theatre school when we were like 11.
Nice, yeah.
And she was also uploading on Line Booth at that time. We were both like, did that together. So we were young, but we were really competitive, like the two of us, because we were like the only two people that we knew trying to be Taylor Swift, and she was like doing an artist thing. And we were really competitive, but we were friends. But it was like, I think, I don't know about her, but I definitely needed her, because I would have just thought I was special. Like I needed someone else doing it to keep me driven and to keep me going. And then she went and did write a producer, and it was kind of weird for a while, and I was like, oh. And then I think she asked me, she was like, we should write together. And this was like 2018 or 19, and now we just work together a lot.
Nice.
And now we both exist in the industry, because we're not children now, so there's no, you know. Yeah. But she's like very special part of my journey. I talk about her a lot. Because I feel like we started together, doing the same thing.
So she's the one producing the tracks. Does she write with you as well? Yeah,
we've written a few of them, like New Wave and Owe It To You. We wrote together, and she produced. And then she produced Like You Boy, Play, Everything's Been Happening, and has worked on a few of the others with me. But they're like ones I did. But we listen to the same stuff. She gets what I like. I like working with her. She's really, really good. So yeah. Nice. And she lives in my house and we're friends. So
that's awesome.
So
that's
it's nice.
Great.
Yeah.
Great creative relationship.
It is. It's good.
Do you also work on the production, or you kind of leave that up to the producer?
Yeah, I'm not a producer. Okay. I've got my ideas.
Yeah.
I'm very into listening to production. I know what's good and what isn't, and I'm into audio, and I'm into I really get audio. Like I know what's good and what isn't. Like some people don't. They listen to everything on AirPods. I'm like, do you even understand how much better it would sound if you just got some nice headphones? It would sound so much better.
Yeah.
So I care about the quality of stuff. But I don't know. I've never had the patience for it. I can make a nice demo because I play guitar and I can layer up things and I have ideas, but I just have never had the patience or interest in learning about like software. I don't know. It's just not for me.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's not for me.
So in a session, what does that look like for you then? You said you not often come in the session with a song.
Yes, normally.
So you build it from the session.
Usually.
I mean, sometimes that could be really kind of tedious and like it's just not working and you've got to get it to work, or you scratch it and move on. I don't know. I just don't want to like miss out on talking about that, because that's so important to the journey and the process. So when you're there and things aren't working, how do you handle that?
I think not working is when I realize it's not going to be a single.
Yeah.
When I realize it's not going to be the next single, then I'm like, okay, this session isn't working. But I did an interview when I was 15. I was watching it the other day, and in the interview, I said, I was like,
Are you watching your interviews?
I always watch them. I think I said something. I was like, I don't think it's that hard to like write a song, but it's hard to write a good song. And I still agree with that. I think when you realize the song's not going to be the next single, that's fine. But finish it off. Just finish the song. Like I can finish a song. So I try and do that, because then it's like the day was useful, and also I work with another person, and perhaps we haven't had our best song yet, but next time we might. But I always try and push myself to finish it, because I think you can just finish it. Just write another verse. Like it just doesn't. If you establish it's not going to be your next release, that's fine. It's no pressure. But you should still always try and finish the song.
Are you top lining over already produced out tracks?
Usually the same time. I'll go in and be like, this is the song I'm listening to, because I only listen to one song every sort of week, and I'll repeat until
one song.
Yeah, I'm a bit like that.
Of yours?
No, someone else's.
Someone.
Yeah, I go through like I'll do one song until I know every second of it, and I'm like, okay, next song. Like that's kind of how my brain digests music.
And it takes you a week to know everything.
Yeah, or sometimes more. Sometimes I'm hooked on one for like months, like
nice.
or a few days. Like I've got one that I've been on for like 3 days now, so I don't know how.
What is it?
It's called Dreams by Carol something. I only found it, 3 days ago, but it's a great song. I think it's so cool. So today when I went in, they were like, what do you want to do? I was like, well, I like this beat. Let's do something like this. So we made this beat. And then, so it's usually like that. It's usually just whatever I'm listening to, I'll try and make something like that.
But is that process quick? Because like, for example, like I can produce out stuff, and I've been, I've worked with people and we've tried to produce a track and it's just not working, and like, or you add in elements. So like, when someone's producing a track, are you just sitting there, or are you adding like?
I'm normally just sitting there.
Okay, yeah, I'm just curious to know like what the process is.
I'm more of a lyrics person in general.
Gotcha.
That's where I get very excited. When it's time to do the lyrics.
Cool, nice. That makes a lot of sense.
So yeah, I kind of let them, because to be fair, everyone I work with now is just really, really good, and they amaze me. They're so amazing. I'm always just like, you be amazing, and then I'll jump like when it's my turn to do the lyrics. And then I'll come. But I just sort of. But I think that's quite nice, because it's like we both get our thing to do, and I think that's quite nice. So I let them sort of make a little track, and then I normally do the whole sort of top line, unless they're a writer producer, in which case we'll do the melodies together. But I'm very particular on doing at least 80% of the lyrics on my own. If I have to stand on stage and sing them, they need to be about me. Like,
of course,
I have to feel it, or I can't act it. If I can't feel it, it needs to feel something. So yeah, I try and do a lot of the lyrics. That's my thing. Nice. I really care.
So it comes really like easy to you, or fairly easy lyrics.
Yes, and I think when again, like I show my dad and like my friends with songs, and I'm like, how have you written all 3 of these this week? Like, it's amazing. I'm like, but when you are writing 3 a week, with anything, you just get better and you get quicker.
Repetition.
Like, the more you're doing it, like if I'm writing 3 songs a week every week, I'm now very quick at. I don't know. I think it's a practice thing as well. I think if I stopped for a bit, I might struggle. Like, I don't know. But certainly at the moment, I feel like I can, I know generally that I'm going to write something that day. Like, as long as I've got something to say, then I can write something. Yeah. Yeah.
When you released your latest EP, Champagne, are you just right back into the studio to write more songs? Or?
Yeah, I never stop really. Okay, like, it's always going, and it's like, again, that EP, the track list changed like 5 times. Like, it's called Champagne because there was a song called Champagne on there that didn't make it in the end.
And you stuck with it.
I think the only one that's on the original was Like You Boy, because that's like 4 years old now. And all the others have sort of come in and out since. Like, All the Time was the last edition. That one knocked Champagne off at the end, and I was like, oh, it's better than Champagne. Yeah. So I had to put.
So good.
Oh, thank you. It's my favorite of all of the songs. Yeah, it's my favorite one. But yeah, I was just so excited by it, and I was just like, no, it has to be on it. So I just popped that, even though we'd finished like everything. I was like, no, that one has to be. But yeah, I know what the next 2 singles are going to be, and probably more. Gotcha. I always kind of know what's coming.
Yeah. And is it singles, and then you're like, oh, this would be a good EP, or do you have that also mapped out?
I know it will be an EP,
right?
But I don't release the first 2 and say they're from an EP. Yeah. Because that's just so expensive. Yeah. Like, it's not that I'd just be doing EP for ages. But how I see the next year going, I'll probably do a single in September. I'll probably do a single in January. Mm-hmm. And then I'll assess when the EP begins and what goes on it. But to sort of fill the gap. But they probably will, because I also have this thing where, like, I know no one like has a CD player, but I really care about having all of my songs kind of on a disc. Like, I care about that. I can give them to my dad and be like, because he listens to things on a hi-fi, and like he sits and like listens to music like people used to do. Yeah. So I really care about, like, everything needs to end up on a CD for it to actually exist. Otherwise it's just online. Like, if internet goes down, then I have no EP unless it's on a disc. Like, so I really care about sort of just, it all needs to be part. And it's also like a bookend. Like, it's the end, that's Champagne. Right, next thing, like, I don't know. I care about them being on a disc. I don't know why, but I think because I was always buying Taylor Swift albums and like staring at them and reading the books and like being like, oh, I need this. Like, I love this disc. This disc is my life. I care about CDs, even though I don't have a CD player at all. Yeah. I don't even have one.
It's sort of a nostalgic feel, I guess.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
To touch the thing you made. Yeah, it's quite nice to touch it. Yeah,
definitely. You mentioned in an interview that you focus so much on the sound in your music before the branding. Mm-hmm. and then you kind of married the two, which
Yes.
now is a great product. Shouldn't say product, but it's
Yeah, no, it is a product.
Yeah,
Of course.
Did you take did you workshop that yourself, and like did you say, okay, I want everything to look like this, or did you work with a team, or how did that all kind of come together to kind of create?
Yeah, I mean, I did it all myself.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've really ever treated it like a brand. I think I just kind of, my brand is the stuff I like. I dress the same all of the time.
Yeah.
Like even when I'm not doing music, I still wear the same stuff. So I think I'm just like, I'm very sure of what I like.
Yep.
And I think as long as I
comes across.
Yeah. If I just stick with the things that I like, then it becomes a brand that way. If you really know who you are, and I know who I am, I think, like, at least now I know who I am. I know what I like to wear, how I like to pose in photos. I know like what fonts I like to use, and that's the brand. But I don't really think like, oh, does it fit the brand? Like, I'm just like, does it fit me? Do I like it or not? Like that's kind of, but yeah, perhaps further down the line, I'd probably do something a bit more creative. Yeah. I don't know. I've never worked with a creative visual team, or anything like that. But I think when you sign deals and things, then you get input from these people. But as of yet, it's just me going, oh, I like that top. I'd wear that.
It's just instinct. It's just
just stuff I like. Right. Yeah, just me.
That's so cool. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it feels and sounds that you're in such a sweet spot of your career that it's super exciting.
Thank you.
See where it's gonna go. I guess what's next?
Oh, so I've got these 2 songs.
Yeah.
That will come at some point. This summer should be good. Last summer I had a really busy summer. I had loads of festivals. This year I don't have so many, but the ones I have got are good. I've got the Shania Twain one.
Nice.
Doing Hyde Park for Shania Twain.
Cool.
I don't stop talking about it. Everyone. Yeah. I tell everyone I've met in the last week. I'm like, oh, by the way,
it's amazing.
It's cool. It's really because it's just like I never thought that was never a goal because I didn't know it was a goal. But now I've had this. I'm like, oh, what a great thing to have done. I just think it's very special. So that's fun. I've got that, and then I don't know. Probably the same as last year. I always do the same thing every year. I sort of go, okay, what I will do this year is I'll do a show and I'll sell it out. I will release some music, and I will play some festivals, and that's the year. I just have to make sure they all happen. I am going to Nashville in October, which I've never done.
Yeah,
I have to go.
There. It's
I'm so excited.
I didn't go for music. I went for a wedding, but
amazing.
Yeah,
I've always known about it because Taylor Swift was like Nashville, and I didn't know what Nashville, like as a kid I didn't know what that was. I thought it was this like place or this complex or like somewhere you go. Like I didn't know that it was like a town, or like I don't know what I thought it was, but I was like, oh, Nashville, Taylor Swift, she went there and then she did music, so I was like, okay, so I have to go there, whatever it is, I have to go. Obviously I know what it is now, but I've always been like, I have to go. So this is my sort of 12-year-old self would be very pleased that this is finally happening. I should have sessions and shows and things to do there. So that's the plan. So
you might fall in love and you might move.
I hope so. Yeah. That's what Taylor Swift would have done. So I'll do whatever she says.
Okay, nice.
I'll copy her.
You mentioned goals, and like the festival wasn't necessarily part of your goals. Do you have those laid out? And like, what are your sort of top 5 goals? And I'm talking like what you see yourself in.
Yeah, I think it's like...
Well, of course you do, since you map out your...
Yes, every time I sort of hit something, I have to remember to sort of acknowledge it happened. Like Radio 1 was a goal. I was like, I need to be on Radio 1. Then I got Radio 1, I was like, but I want to be on Radio 1 every day. I was like, no. You need to just accept that you've been on Radio 1. Like, I'm always looking for the next thing. I never really enjoy the thing. So, I've ticked a lot of things. Every year at the start of the year, I would make a list of the goals of the year. And they're a mixture of, like, personal ones and, like... career ones, and also like friend ones and things I want. People, maybe there's someone I know that I really want to be friends with. I'm like, by the end of this year they will be my best friend. Like stuff like that. I make a list. So every year I make a list. Haven't made next year. I'm still halfway through in this year, but I don't know. I've got things I'd like to do. I'd like to play Brixton Academy. I'd like to do Shepherd's Bush. Doesn't have to be my show, just like to play there.
I saw you played at Amira.
Yeah, I did do Amira. That was a headline. I did Amira, and then I did a big support. I supported Katie Baser at Kentish Town Forum, and that was, again, that's like the biggest North London venue. I was like, I have to play there. I played at Coco last year as well. So it's like I'm ticking off ones that I like, but like I won't be sad if I don't, because you have to be realistic as well. Like I'm doing music, I should be blessed with that. But there's always things I want to do. We'll see. I don't know. It's just fun. I'm just always trying to do everything and just see what happens. And when something happens, it's just fun. Yeah.
Do you know Jacob Collier?
I do, yes.
Yeah, you've got such a similar sort of just like feeling and I don't know. He's just so positive.
Oh, is he? Good.
Yeah, and
that's good.
Passionate about music, and just feels like he enjoys life, and that's what kind of radiates from you.
Good. I try to. I think it's important. I think I hung out with people for a while that didn't really support the music, or just didn't really care, and also like they didn't care about their own lives, and they didn't care about they wanted to hate things and blame things for the reason that they were sad, but actually the reason they were sad is because they didn't try, and because they were just negative. But when you're in that and you don't realize that, like it used to get to me, and like nothing was making me happy, and I was like, why? Like I'm doing all this stuff and nothing's making me happy. And now I'm very much like I will only surround myself with people that just aren't hateful, are supportive of others, not like, I just think the people you surround yourself with is the key to everything. And then when you've got loads of positive people, everyone's very positive and things are better for everyone. Like I think it's just, I love the people that I surround myself with now. I have such a great group of friends. They're so fab.
That's so good. It's not always easy to break away from those sorts of relationships, no matter how maybe negative or toxic.
I didn't even they broke it off, and I was like, oh, it's all over. Like I can't believe you. Like it was so awful, but I didn't even realize. Like, and then when they were gone, I was like, thank the heavens. Like, oh my god, like everything's so much better now that I'm free from this like negativity and like this unsupportive like sadness. Like it's just awful. I'm so I didn't even know, but now I know. Now I'm very aware.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it seems like you also do a lot of like self-reflection and like
I try to be self-aware. And I think some people don't want to self-improve. They think they're perfect. I always try and self-improve with everything, absolutely everything, whether that's like the way I treat my friends, the way I treat myself. Like I'm always like, how can I be better at it? Because I just, not in a sort of like, I think I'm not doing well, just because I think I'm capable of doing better. And I think it's a positive thing. And when you tell certain people that, they see that as like a toxic thing. Like, why are you not like, why do you think you need to do Invisalign? Like, they're like, oh, but it's like, cause it's better. Like, cause I want to, if it's something I think I could do better, then I'll do better. Like, if I think I could be nicer to my friends, I'll be nicer to them. Like, it's a good thing. It's a good thing to try and always grow. And I think if you're always growing, like, it's fun. Yeah. It means you're going somewhere and it's not just like,
yeah. Is there anything you think, you could do better musically?
Yeah. Oh, always, yeah. Like even like I did like a EP show 2 weeks ago or something, and it was the best show I've ever done. I know that is the best show, but it wasn't as good as I could do. I know that, and I told people that, and I was like, yeah, I could do better, and they were like, no, you were great. Like, what do you mean you could do better? I'm like, no, I know I can do better. I'm not saying I was bad. I know I was great. I watched it back. I was like, this is good, but I can do better. Like. So I'm always aware of like what I can do better. Yeah.
But specifically, what was it that you thought?
I think that my between songs could have been smoother. Okay, I think that perhaps I needed to get a bit fitter. Like genuinely, like I got out of breath. Like that's an easy thing to fix. So just certain things in certain songs, I think I could have used the audience a bit more, and just stuff that like I saw the holes and I will make it better. And like we're kind of doing the same set for the Shania show, so I'm like, okay, well I'll do it better now. And hopefully like it's important to always sort of be happy with what you've done, but look to see where you can improve. I think it's good. Yeah,
absolutely. I completely agree. That's so cool. And thanks for sharing that. I know it's like sort of.
Oh, I love sharing. I share everything. Nothing's a secret.
I just want to, we can cut this out as well.
Okay.
But I just want to make sure that I've asked everything I wanted to ask. Oh, yes, I did want to ask about this. Okay. You do have a good social media presence.
Thank you.
Aside from the music and the talent, what else would you attribute that to?
What do you mean?
Sorry, social media, like, why, like your followers and like.
Oh, I don't know. I'm just trying to be very consistent with it. I think you just need to be very consistent. Like, I've had people sort of be like, you need a week away to break from social media. I'm like, no, I quite like it. Like, it's fine as long as I've kind of got, like, I queue up things. Like, I don't know. I try and reply to people. I think that's important, especially at this point. Thanks
for replying.
Of course. I think when you've got like a sort of like a following that you can kind of recognize names from, like I try and reply to people because like they're supporting me. So I should thank them. Like I see lots of people I don't even have to, but I try to, like if someone comments an actual comment, I'll always try and reply to that comment. And I try and reply to most messages. If they're like a functioning message that I can respond to, then I will. Compliments I try and reply to. I try and do a mix of like shiny posts and also like ones I've taken on my phone, and like I try and overshare like what I'm doing every day just to sort of seem busy. Also, not just for fans, but also a lot of industry follow me.
Right. Yeah.
I think from a business point of view, looking busy is very important. So I always try and like, it's cool to do lots of things, but if you don't post about it, how will anyone know you're doing lots of things? And I'm doing lots of things. So I want everyone to know that I'm doing them. So I post about everything. I just think it's a consistency thing and to try and get your voice and personality out. But there's also like a lot of voice and personality I don't put out because I don't think it really fits with the brand because I'm like really weird. Yeah, I'm a bit nuts.
Which is okay.
That's okay.
Yeah, push it out.
Yeah.
I'm sure people would be absolutely okay with it.
Yeah, I'm sure they would. Sometimes I let it show, but most of the time I'm just like very professional. Yeah.
Cool. Well, Natalie, thank you so much
for
coming on. This was a really great chat, and I'm super excited to see where your career goes from here.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Bye.